Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you. And it's for Friday, 30th day of April, 18th day of Iyar, Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the Omer. Okay, I told you this is the Daily DVAR Halacha, but I actually have a beautiful story I want to tell you today. It's written in the Svarim. It's not so well known, this famous story that it's the background of R Shimon Bar Yochai. You know, he's the one that a lot of people are celebrating. This was his Yortzeit, the 33rd of the Omer, and he told everyone to celebrate it because his great wisdom was taught to his students just before his passing, and he told them to celebrate the light of his Torah. Okay, so here's a quick version of a beautiful story to the background. We were talking about Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, and this is a story about Yochai, the father of Reb Shimon, and his wife Sarah. So as the story goes, this is told in the Holy Svarim, that they couldn't have children. And they waited a good number of years for children. And by the standards of halacha, after 10 years of a couple being childless, the husband could consider divorcing his wife if he wanted to marry a different woman so that he could have children with his next wife. And the wife of Yochai, Sarah, knew that this possibility was looming, and she desperately wanted to stay with this holy man and desperately be blessed with children. So she cried bitter tears, praying and praying and praying to God that they would be blessed with a child. She fasted, she gave charity, she went to great lengths to do all mitzvos just so that she would be blessed with a child, crying tears of prayers, rivers of tears. And then this interesting thing happened. It was Rosh Hashanah night, and Yochai, the future father of Reb Shimon, had a dream. Rosh Hashanah night. Now, you know, if you have an intense dream on Rosh Hashanah night, that could be a sign of something. So he had this intense dream. In the dream, he saw a forest where a lot of the trees were dead and a lot of the trees were still alive. And he was leaning against a tree, and he suddenly noticed that the tree that he was leaning against was all dry and dead. And then he noticed some spiritual looking something pouring water over the tree that he was leaning against, and suddenly the tree blossomed and fruits came off of that tree. This was in the dream that Yochai was having. In the morning, he felt very intense about this dream. He discussed it with his wife, and they decided that they would go to their Rebbe, Rabbi Akiva, to ask for the meaning of the dream. And Rabbi Akiva said to them, this is the meaning of the dream. He said, the water that you saw poured from the saintly figure that was pouring it onto the dead tree where you stood, and it suddenly blossomed into beautiful fruit, the water was coming out of a container that contained all of the tears that your wife had cried during all of her beautiful prayers. And those tears were supplanted onto the tree that you were leaning on, and it blossomed because of her tears. You're going to have a son immediately, and that's the meaning of your dream. And 9 months later, they had a little boy. They named him Shimon, based on the word Shema, that Hashem had heard their prayers. And from the get-go, they could see he was a special child. They sent him away to learn with great rabbis, and he became Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Beautiful story. The morals are kind of clear. The tears of great, great righteous people do not go unanswered. You never know if you're going to get the exact answer you want. Hashem may apply your tefillos to some other aspect, and you can't understand how Hashem does his judgment. But this is one beautiful story where you see that the tears of heartfelt prayers do not go unanswered. And that's a beautiful story for you to note about the great Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. While you're listening to this in North America, if that's where you're hearing it, you should just note that somewhere 7 hours ahead of us in Israel, they have already celebrated with hundreds of thousands of people going to the burial place of this holy man, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Thanks for listening. Have a great Shabbos, and log on again after Shabbos for more. Bye-bye.